So, if you've been following E3 news this year, you know that leaks have been at an all time high. No game and no company seems to be safe, and it seems that Nintendo may have been the latest victim. What you're looking at here is a supposed leak for banners to be displayed at Nintendo's booth this year. Those times numbers you see would be, how much of each are being ordered. People have been chiming in quickly on Twitter and social media saying that, at least in terms of the layout, the form in that you see in this picture, it appears to be pretty legit. Obviously, that doesn't confirm anything, could be just a good fake, but with how accurate so many of these recent leaks have been, I felt like it'd be worth the time to kind of go through and talk about what we might be dealing with here. Right off the bat, there certainly seems to be some heavy Nintendo hitters absent from this list, most notably Smash Bros., which the Big N has already confirmed will be playable for attendees at the show this year. So if this is real, it's likely this is only some of the games that will be there. But yeah, let's go through some of them. I'm not going to talk about Mario Tennis Aces, FIFA, or Monster Hunter, because I don't think these would be much of a surprise to anyone. So let's start with Dragon Ball FighterZ. This one has been hotly demanded for Switch pretty much since it was announced. In fact, this is one I feel is kind of owed to the Switch user base. If you remember back, they kind of said it would be possible for the game to come to the Switch if they felt like the demand was there, and Dragon Ball fans responded by giving massive amounts of supports to the Switch version of Xenoverse 2, resulting in the Switch version actually outselling the PS4 version in Japan, despite the PS4 version releasing like a year earlier. I think it's safe to say that the demand for Dragon Ball on the Switch has been more than proven. So seeing Bandai Namco essentially stay true to their word wouldn't be a big surprise to me, but this surely would excite a ton of players, both people who are fans of fighting games. This is one of the most, if not the most popular fighting game out right now, as well as fans of the anime, which the Switch clearly has a ton of. Fortnite, another one that would hardly be a shock to me. They're trying to get this sucker on just about everything, and as soon as I saw it was getting a mobile version, for your smartphone, I assumed it was only a matter of time before it made its way to the Switch. Now, I've said I'm not a big fan of these Battle Royale games at all. I know a lot of you aren't either, but you have to give this game its due right now. It's a powerhouse, millions of active users, and getting a version on the Switch would be a big deal. Especially since the Switch version could offer a mobile experience far superior to phones. And since Nintendo has been nice with Microsoft lately, hopefully we could add this to the insane list of cross-platform support for this title, which I'm a big fan of regardless. I don't care what the game is. I love seeing people being able to play games with their friends without being restricted by platform. So anything that pushes us more into that direction, I think is fantastic. Now, Killer Queen Black, I knew nothing about, never heard of it, assumed it was a new IP or something, but apparently there is an indie game from 2013 called Killer Queen that is sort of a platformer strategy game. You can control like different types of units and stuff, I guess. So this could possibly be a version or a sequel to that. Not as exciting as a new big IP, but yeah, I don't want people getting their hopes up needlessly. The official Twitter for this Killer Queen game also currently has just a plain black profile pic as well as a black banner, so clearly they're up to something. I saw a lot of people speculating on this as if this Killer Queen game didn't exist, so I just want people to be armed with that knowledge. It is already a thing. Now, if you want to talk about games that everyone totally forgot existed, you have to talk about Starlink Battle for Atlas. Another one I thought was perhaps a new IP, until I was reminded that this game was actually announced by Ubisoft at last year's E3. It came off as sort of a spaceship Skylanders type deal. You fly around in the ship exploring different planets and that, but you have these physical ships, which I'm sure most of you buy separately, that can be customized with different weapons and accessories, and then Skylander style are scanned into the game for you to actually use. I will say, after watching the footage back, I could see this being a cool idea, but I do not like how they showed the ship attached to your controller. That sounds awkward and uncomfortable to me. Hope that's not something at least that you have to do. As far as the game, if it's good, I could see this being a thing. I feel like these sorts of titles rely too heavily on the physical gimmick a lot of the time, though, and not as much on being an actual good game. Again, looking back at what we saw last year, I liked what they showed. If it's representative of the actual game, it looked good. I could see myself getting into something like this. But yeah, I totally forgot this happened. But since the game was actually announced, and we haven't really heard anything about it, so it's certainly not a cancellation, it obviously could pop up at the show again this year. Paladins is, well, it's not Overwatch. I think that's the best way I can describe it. It has nothing to do with, absolutely no similarities to Overwatch. However, if we're not going to get Overwatch on the Nintendo Switch, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be too hard on this game. I've personally never played it, but it certainly looks like something that I guess could scratch that Overwatch itch. I know that's one of the more requested games I see for the Switch, certainly when people are talking about the shooter genre in specific. So I think there's definitely room for a game like this on the platform, and perhaps it can do well for itself on the Switch without having to worry about games such as Overwatch to compete with. Yeah, I think I said Paladins once here, but Overwatch like 5 times. That should tell you all you need to know as far as my insight on this. And then there's the big reveal here, Overcooked 2. Honestly though, Overcooked is awesome. May not be a AAA game, but I think the gameplay value in it is higher than many AAA games, especially if you have a group. Specifically people to do couch co-op with. I think this game is a total blast. So I'd love to see another one, see how they build on the first one. I think that they could definitely do some more interesting stuff with it. What kind of new scenarios might they come up with? I would really like to see this one. But yeah, honestly, if this leak turned out to be real and all of these games are coming to the Nintendo Switch, I certainly don't think it would be that crazy. I could see all of them coming. And keep in mind, if this is real, this probably is for playable stuff. And not even necessarily all of the playable stuff. I think there will surely be plenty more surprises in store for Nintendo fans at the show, if they can keep them a secret, that is. We still have, 10 days left till E3. Who knows what will come out between now and then. And yeah, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on these supposed leaks in the comments. Do you think this is real? And which of these games, if any, would you like to see on Nintendo Switch? As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.